Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Pete Spratt to defeat Carlos Newton. And I'm here to talk about Khalil Rountree versus Chris Daukaus. Rountree is 11-5, 33 years old, and he's given up 2 inches of height and 2 inches of reach to 33-year-old Daukaus, who is 12-6 as a pro. Very similar records, experience and similar age. This is a fight at light heavyweight. Chris Daukaus has dropped down in weight after getting knocked around by some of the hardest hitting heavyweights on the planet. And I think it could be a good move for him. He's taken off enough time where I don't think his chin is going to be still shot, but chins don't heal really. I still have a lot of doubt in his chin. I just think he's recovered well. But he's got 6 losses, 5 of them via knockout, 1 via submission. And, these aren't TKOs. He's been knocked out. He's been fucked up. He was one of the faster heavyweights and really got off with his boxing. I believe he's a jiu-jitsu black belt, but you wouldn't know it from watching him fight. But he is a very quick boxer, very quick hands, or at least that was the story at heavyweight. Here at light heavyweight, I think he's going to be losing a little bit of that speed advantage, although he's still going to be quick. And maybe he'll be more powerful on the flip side. But I am interested in how his weight cut's going to turn out here, because he does have a weak chin. And, of course, the last time I speculated on a guy with a weak chin cutting down in weight, it was when I picked against Paul Craig in the Andre Muniz fight. And Paul Craig looked fantastic. So this could work out for Daukaus, and he's still young enough where he could make it work. But he's going up against a guy in Khalil Rountree who has 7 TKOs, or KOs really, in his 11 fights. He is a guy that's knocked out Gokhan Saki, K1 fighter. And by the way, I'm always talking about when I get shit wrong. I got that one right. Standing knockout I picked for Khalil Rountree. I have seen Khalil Rountree's gotten plenty of finishes with his kicks and knees. And, that Modestas-Bukauskas fight was just fucking brutal, that finish. He side-kicked him in the knee. I suppose that's a good way to finish anybody. Carl Roberson, he roughed him up with body kicks early in round 2. He's definitely a guy that doesn't rely on his hands like Chris Daukaus. Rountree's a little more well-rounded with his striking. He's a much better Muay Thai guy, and definitely has a kicking advantage over Daukaus. As far as the hands go, I think Daukaus has better hands, but on the flip side, he's got a weaker chin in my opinion. And it's not to say Khalil Rountree has a perfect chin. He's been finished twice. He was knocked out by Johnny Walker and Iwan Kutalaba on the ground. Johnny Walker, of course, knocked him out with an elbow standing, which is one of the most brutal finishes I've ever seen. And he's been submitted twice as well, once on The Ultimate Fighter by Corey Hendricks and once in the UFC to Tyson Pedro. He's still a little vulnerable there, and of course he doesn't have one submission victory. Neither does Daukaus, but Daukaus, I trust his jiu-jitsu more. This fight, it'd be really, really interesting to see this fight go long and to see this fight go everywhere. I'd love to see it. But I think this fight's going to be largely contested on the feet for however long it lasts. And I do think Rountree's going to end up clipping Daukaus. I just have a lot less faith in Daukaus' chin. And I'm aware he's been knocked out by some of the hardest hitters at heavyweight, Derek Lewis and Rosenstruck. And Curtis Blades is probably one of the most underrated strikers there. So there's no shame in losing to those guys at all or getting knocked out. But the reality is he's been knocked out in 3 consecutive fights. And despite how he looked before that, tearing through the heavyweight division, the lower level anyway, knocking out Rodrigo Nascimento, Shamil Abdurakhimov, Parker Porter, Alexei Olenek. He showed he can dish it out, but he just can't take it. I'm sure he's got the heart and the grit and everything to take it, but not the chin. And that's the kill shot. And I think Rountree's going to land it. That's the prediction. He can always finish it with leg kicks, but at the very least, the leg kicks will open up the hands, and I think he's going to crack the chin in one way or another. Khalil Rountree is the pick. I have bet on him at minus 200, and I've bet on the under as well, which is set at 1.5 rounds. I'm never crazy about 1.5 rounds, but in a fight like this, I think if either one gets the victory, it's probably via knockout. Of course, Rountree's been to plenty of tight decisions. Michal Oleksiejczuk, Dustin Jacoby, He's been to a decision. Some of his fights have a slower pace, but I just think there's such a lack of durability here. This one is destined to be finished. So that's how I see it. Khalil Rountree by knockout. Late round one, call it. Like, share, subscribe, all that horseshit, and check out my other videos.